Welcome to the Arsenal Report, and remember, subscribe. Victor Osimhen was in Lagos, his villa bathed in the amber heat of a Nigerian evening. After a long season with Napoli, his most grueling yet, the striker sat reclined with his phone face down on a table. He had received multiple calls all day from journalists, agents, friends. Everyone wanted answers. Was he leaving Napoli? Would he stay in Serie A? Victor sat up slowly. Arsenal. The name had floated around him for months, years even. He admired their rebuild, their style, the youth, and most of all, Mikel Arteta's audacity. Back at Arsenal's London Colney training ground, Mikel Arteta and sporting director Edu Gaspar were locked in deep discussion. Their objective: find a striker who would transcend the limitations of Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. They wanted physicality, technique, hunger, and stardust. Roberto Calenda arranged the first meeting with Arsenal at a discreet venue in Paris, neutral ground. Osimhen stayed in Lagos, observing quietly. Edu came with Arsenal's chief negotiator, Richard Garlick, bringing a confidential dossier. Inside were Arsenal's long-term plans, their commitment to Project Youth, and an offer: £230,000 per week, 5-year deal, bonuses tied to Champions League success, and goal milestones. Nuno Tavares has moved to Serie A side Lazio on a permanent transfer. The 25-year-old defender joined us from Benfica in July 2021 and made 28 appearances in all competitions. He scored his first competitive goal for us in a 3-1 win against Manchester United in April 2022. Lisbon-born Nuno joined Benfica's academy in 2015, spending 6 years with the club. After graduating to the first team, Nuno made his debut in style, lifting silverware aged 19 as Benfica defeated Sporting Lisbon 5-0 in the Portuguese Super Cup in August 2019. Following his debut season at the club, the attacking fullback spent time on loan with Marseille, Nottingham Forest and Lazio. He made 39 appearances in all competitions for Marseille during the 2022-23 season, scoring 6 times to help Marseille to a third-place finish in League One. A loan spell with Nottingham Forest came the following season, where Nuno made a combined 12 appearances in the Premier League and FA Cup. Nuno then spent the 2024-25 campaign on loan with Lazio, where he made 30 appearances in all competitions. He assisted 9 times, 8 of which came in the first 10 league games. During his time on loan at Lazio, Nuno was awarded his first senior international cap when he came on as a substitute in Portugal's 5-1 win against Poland in the UEFA Nations League in November 2024. Everyone at Arsenal would like to thank Nuno for his contribution to the club and wish him all the best for the future. The deal is subject to the completion of regulatory processes. Another news. Rodrigo and Šeško. Join Arsenal character count, approximately 6,030. It was a humid night in Madrid when the first whisper dropped. Rodrigo Goes, one of Real Madrid's crown jewels, had been spotted at a private dinner with 2 men unknown to the Spanish press. But someone recognized the older gentleman, Kia Joorabchian, an agent with deep ties to the Premier League. The second man? None other than Arsenal's head of football operations. No one could believe it at first. Rodrigo, at 24, was a Champions League winner. Why would he ever leave Madrid? But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Madrid had signed Mbappé and Endrick. Game time would vanish. Rodrigo wasn't leaving because he was unhappy. He was leaving because he refused to become a bench ornament. And Arsenal? They weren't chasing shadows anymore. Arteta's project had evolved from hope to hunger. They needed killers, winners, big names to match big ambition. At the same time, in Leipzig, another move brewed. Benjamin Šeško, the towering Slovenian striker, had lit up the Bundesliga. His release clause? €65 million. Arsenal had flirted with him before, but this time they acted. By the time Fabrizio Romano tweeted "Red Circle Arsenal have activated Šeško's clause," it was already done. The 21-year-old forward had passed his medical at London Colney at 7 a.m, completely undetected. It was when both deals leaked within an hour, Rodrigo on a loan to buy, and Šeško permanent, that football media went into meltdown. Sky Sports called it a window-defining double swoop. L'Équipe headlined, "Arsenal dreaming bigger than ever," and Arsenal Twitter, pure chaos, compilation videos, tactics threads, even a tattoo of Rodrigo in an Arsenal kit popped up. But behind the scenes it hadn't been smooth. Real Madrid had resisted. Florentino Perez didn't want to lose Rodrigo, but the player's agent presented a ruthless ultimatum: loan him now or sell him next summer for less. Arsenal agreed to a £10 million loan fee with a £70 million buy clause for 2026. Madrid retained a 15% sell-on clause. Everyone walked away satisfied. Quiet, precise, ruthless. Arteta was already planning. With Šeško's presence in the box and Rodrigo's flair from wide, the front three would become Martinelli, Šeško, Rodrigo with Saka and Ødegaard feeding them. But the pressure was on. The fans were ecstatic, but expectations skyrocketed. "Now we have to win the league," one supporter posted. Edu, smiling in his office, simply said, "That's the point." Rodrigo's unveiling broke viewership records on Arsenal's YouTube channel. In the video, he walked through Highbury House, jersey in hand, and said in near-perfect English, Šeško's first interview was more reserved, but no less bold. Even rival fans admitted Arsenal had arrived. These weren't prospects, they were power moves. Training sessions were electric. Rodrigo danced past defenders like he was in Madrid still. Šeško bullied centre-backs twice his age. Arteta smiled more than usual. In the Emirates dressing room, Gabriel Jesus laughed as he watched Šeško rifle shot after shot into the top corner. "He's not a kid," he said to Zinchenko. "He's a beast." The season opener was against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Rodrigo started wide right, Šeško up top. The world watched. In the 14th minute, Declan Rice sprayed a ball out wide. Rodrigo took it on the bounce, cut inside, and bent a left footer into the top corner. The away fans exploded. Then, in the 71st, Saka squared low across the box. Šeško met it with a thunderous one-touch finish. 2-0. Game over. Arteta clenched his fist on the touchline. Edu, watching from the director's box, nodded. That night, Arsenal fans partied in pubs, parks, and on social media. They weren't just dreamers anymore. They were contenders. Titans. And it had all started with a whisper in Madrid and a clause in Leipzig. Another news. Bernardo Silva to Arsenal? To leave Manchester City, where he had won everything there was to win? Surely not. But behind the scenes, something real was brewing. Arsenal weren't just dreaming, they were planning. Quietly, boldly. Mikel Arteta, once Pep Guardiola's protégé and now his most dangerous rival, had never forgotten the quiet genius of Bernardo Silva. He had coached him, trained with him, watched him break lines and create space out of nothing. Arteta didn't just admire Bernardo, he understood him. Bernardo, now 30, had just returned from another long season with City. Though still brilliant, he had begun to feel the routine closing in. Trophies no longer gave him goosebumps. The thrill was fading. When Arteta called, the conversation hit deeper than expected. "You can still be a legend here,"